YouTubers, what's up? Scott here from scottsbasslessons.com. So for me, the most important part of your technique as a bass player and the underlying foundation of it all is this hand. The most forgotten about hand of a bass player's tool set. It's the plucking hand, because everything you do comes from this. The thought takes process in my mind, and then that sends it to this hand initially, and then it triggers a movement, and then we've got sound happening down here. Another really nice way to think about it is that this is the engine, okay? This is the steering wheel. This is what's going to drive the car. This is what's going to take you on the journey. And without the engine, we're not going to get where we want to go. It is so easy for bass players to completely forget about the plucking hand. We're all thinking about scales and arpeggios and pentatonics and hexatonics and everything in between. So today I've got 5 ultimate tips. I don't know why they're ultimate. 5 really cool tips to fix your plucking hand and things to think about that's really going to help you with your bass playing. Also, I should point out that if you want to take your technique to the next level, and hopefully you do, I've actually just opened up a brand new 26-week program, brand new, where you can work with me, and I'm going to be sending you lessons every single week for 26 weeks. It's pretty much your way of studying with me, kind of like one-on-one via video. It's super cool. I'll link to it below. It's called the Bass Technique Accelerator course. It's 26 weeks long, and I'll absolutely love it for you to check it out. But before you do, let's head on over to the Theory Corner so you can check out these technique tips. Okay guys, so here we are in the Theory Corner. Shout out to Gav for getting the dong 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 sign, and shout out is very proud. Look, have you seen it's lit over the back of the Theory Corner here? You know, I told Gav that he needed to up his game in the Theory Corner. He's bringing it. Unfortunately though for you, I am not bringing it with my pieces of, what is this stuff, like brown paper? I need to bring it a little bit more with this brown paper. But anyway, give Gav some love in the comments down below. He deserves it just for putting up with me. Anyway, so here we go. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 tips for getting this hand into shape. Hit it, Gav. Okay, so let's check out number 5. God damn it. Okay, number 1, nail the rest stroke. Now, I've seen a ton of beginner to intermediate players that are using the free stroke as kind of like their primary stroke. And what I mean by this is with this right hand here, or I don't want to discriminate against left-handers, with this plucking hand, you can either use a rest stroke, which is where you pluck the string like this. So as you can see, I'm plucking that string and then the finger rests on the string underneath. Now for a lot of pro players, in fact, for 99.9% of players, this rest stroke, that's going to be the primary stroke, but there's a lot of players nowadays that I'm seeing crop up that are adopting this free stroke, which is where you pluck the string and it kind of just goes into nowhere. The fingers go into nowhere. Now, that's cool for certain styles of playing, and I do use the free stroke sometimes, but one thing you've just got to nail down is the rest stroke, because there's so many fundamental tones that you can get out of your bass when you're using the rest stroke, that if I ever come across a bass player that is using the free stroke as their primary stroke, I'm going to try and get them to at least, you know, be able to do a really great job of that rest stroke as well. So if you are using the free stroke as your primary stroke when you're plucking, I'd really recommend at least getting a really good handle on that rest stroke, because it's going to give you a lot more tone shaping capabilities from the right hand. Okay, so number 4, the rest stroke mute. Now this is where you can actually use a rest stroke to mute the string without having to even involve the left hand, right? So this is easy to practice. You just, let's say, take a C here on the A string, and all I want you to do is play a rest stroke here on the A string, like this. But as you do that, I want the middle finger to come over and mute the string, like this. See what happened there? I used the index finger, and then it was muted by the middle finger. Then again, we use the middle finger, and it gets muted by the index. Now this is going to really build a lot of control into your plucking hand, which is, remember, this is the engine. We need to get this fine-tuned, okay? So this is what it's going to sound like. And again, this left hand is just, I'm just holding down that note. All the muting here is coming from this right hand. And see how fast you can push that. And shout out to Gary Willis for that, because he taught it to me. So there you go. Now, number 3, alternate up, economy down. Now, when you're going up up a scale or a phrase or anything like that, you want to play alternately with the index and middle, okay? So index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. You don't want to be playing index, middle, index, 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 middle, middle, index. It doesn't want to be a free-for-all, right? We want to have this finely tuned technique in our plucking hand, and to do that, we really want to be able to play alternate when we're ascending up a scale or a phrase. Now you might say, well, you know, sometimes I just like and play with that index finger. That's cool if it's a choice. You know what I mean? There's a difference between a choice and just something that your body decides to do, right? So we really, really want to be able to play with alternate picking when we want to do it, when we choose. And that's going to give us the ability to play right up a scale like that, super fluid, okay? So right from down here. Now I'm never going to be able to play like that if this is just doing what it wants, you know, right? So alternate up, economy down. Now, economy picking is where you'll pluck one note. Let's say I was doing this phrase, right? This is like a C major, but going from the F on the G string. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, that's what it's going to sound like. Now I play 3 notes, F, or I won't even tell you the notes, it's not needed. So I play the first 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. Now that finger, this index finger has just played the last note on the G string, and it's going to play the first note on the D string. Again, check it out. So index, middle, index, index, middle, index, index, middle, index, index, middle. So it's doubling up as I go down. Okay. Now I might obviously guess that a lot of you are thinking, oh, I do that. But do you do it really controlled? Is it every time? Can you just get a scale like this and go index, middle, index, index, middle, index, index, middle, index, middle, index? Okay, and can you do it like this? Because that's how those runs happen, you know? Okay, it's because I'm using that alternate picking. And likewise, you need to be able to do it with the other finger as well, which is like middle, index, middle, middle, index, middle, middle, index, middle, middle, index. So there, I'm raking down with my middle finger. And by doing it with both fingers, it means whatever phrase that you happen to start playing, you're going to be able to start with whichever finger you want, and you're not going to get tripped up and end up with that messy, clacky sound that you've probably experienced before. Number 2. Don't laugh. Gav's down there. Ha ha. Ha ha. Number 2. Number 2. Oh no.
They will never notice.
They will never notice. Number 2, stroke 4. Don't forget dynamics. And by dynamics, it's like one of the key things that this plucking hand gives us is like great access to these instant dynamics in our playing. When I was first playing on, Rewind Man, 20 years ago, so when I was 21, 22, I was playing a lot on the cruise ships in and around the Caribbean and over in the Mediterranean. I'm struggling. I think I was just so drunk during the whole experience that I don't know where I went. But anyway, that's a different story. But on those ships, I can remember when I first started doing those gigs, the musical director pulling me in and saying, hey, it's all good, but your dynamic range is just like super flat. The whole band goes down and you are just like meh, and the whole band goes up and you are just meh, you know. So I wasn't really using any dynamics within my playing, and dynamics come directly from the plucking hand. So get dynamics and be aware of your dynamics when you're playing. If the band are digging in, okay, like lean into it. If the, you know, you can draw it back as well with your plucking hand. And also, you know, all them little spiky, you can hear that I'm not playing all one level. You know, it's these little spikes happening. That all comes from the plucking hand, okay? All comes from the plucking hand. Now, number 1, forward flash. Number 5.
AKA,
oh, get off! Yeah.
AKA 5.
AKA 5. Rookie error. Change position for tone. So this is actually tied in with the dynamics here. Is, you know, obviously have your neutral spot wherever that is. For me, it's around here. Okay, this is what I like to play. But if I was giving more of a, going for a little bit more of a punchy tone, I'm going to play more over here near the bridge because it's a tighter sound. And likewise, if I wanted to go for a more rounder, fatter tone, I might play right over here. Over the neck here. Okay, so 5, nail the rest stroke. 4, the rest stroke mute. 3, at least that one was right, alternate up and economy down. 2, don't forget dynamics. And 1, change the position for tone. Thanks again for checking out this lesson, guys. As I said earlier, if you want to really push your techniques to the next level, you can work with me over the next 26 weeks. I'll put a link below. It's to my brand new Technique Accelerator course. It's going to be a ton of fun. You are going to get a brand new lesson every single Monday for the next 26 weeks, and it closes enrollment within the next few days, and then we kick off on October the 1st with our first lesson. Once that first lesson kicks off, enrollment's shut for the next 6 months. So if you want to be a part of this, which hopefully you do, check it out below, and hopefully I'll see you on the inside. Now, as always, take it easy, and I'll see you in the shed.